Hey, Bruiser Buddies, this is Wrestling Nostalgia with Dave Dynasty.
Before we dive into the episode, make sure you hit subscribe on the podcast platform you're listening on. Also, follow me on X at The Dave Dynasty and subscribe on YouTube by looking up Nostalgic Dave Dynasty. You can also buy one of my shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty. Now, enjoy the show.
Welcome to 1 hour of the toughest, roughest wrestling you'll ever see.
That's right, Dick the Bruiser said it all.
The big question, have you got the endurance? Have you got the brains to get past the excellence of execution?
The reason why Axe and myself were put on this earth is to demolish people.
Bobby Heenan, that is a very good-looking sport coat you've got on.
Yeah, and I paid for mine. Mine isn't government issue.
Yellow, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown right along ringside. And by golly, we're ready to go with another big week of championship wrestling.
Greetings, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestling Nostalgia. I'm your host, Dave Dynasty. First off, let me apologize if my voice sounds kind of wacky this week. I have been sick for a week straight. I am still battling it. I still have very little energy, but I dragged my dead ass to the keyboard, to the computer to record this intro and outro so that we could get this episode out to you on time this week because it's a good one. My guest on this episode is the legendary Flying Fred Curry. We talk about his legendary career as well as his father, Wild Bill Curry. And I will say up front, there are some connection issues with this call. So the audio is not perfect. There is some noise here and there. I apologize, but I hope you will stick through. Most of the issues with the sound and the hisses and the clicks and stuff, anything I couldn't get out, it's on my end, right? I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it came through that way. The call was done a little differently because of, Fred's not, he's not tech savvy, doesn't give a crap about Zoom and all this and that. So we had to go a little different route to record it, but it's odd. And I'm thankful, honestly, that it's on my end and not his. So you can hear him and his side. So that's what's important. So just bear through. You hear me all the time anyway. Give it a chance. It's still great. Fred doesn't do interviews, right? He does not do interviews. Fred's 81 years old. He's got some great stories. He still has a little bit of the old school mentality, a little bit of the kayfabe foundation. Not that he was trying to work me, but in the way he talked, right? And but it was a great interview. I don't get starstruck with most of these interviews, right? I have a respect and appreciation for who I'm interviewing all the time, whoever it may be, and very enjoyable. But with Fred, I have to say I got a little starstruck, and I've always loved Fred Curry. I watched him because he was still wrestling for the WWA into the 80s and Bruiser Bedlam, so I watched him there, loved him. Enabled me to, as I was digging back into the WWA history and tape trading and trying to get the stuff and whatnot, seeing some of his, a little bit of his earlier work, right, into the 70s and things, and his stuff in Detroit. And Fred was a great talent, man. And in this interview, you'll hear Fred mention a lot of times his dropkick. I'm telling you, it's not overhyped. Go look him up. Go find some of his stuff from the 70s and watch Fred throw the flurry of dropkicks that he threw. It's remarkable, especially in the context of the time. Fred was a great talent. He's a great guy. Met him at a couple of different things here and there. Communicated with the Sons fairly regularly over the years. I'm a big fan of Fred Curry, a big supporter. And of course, always love hearing stories and tales and digging into the history and seeing what footage is out there of his father, Wild Bull Curry, right? What a larger than life figure. And and that guy that we hear these stories of, that was Fred's dad. It was just his dad. I mean, how cool is that? It's just so wild to think, in putting things into the proper context. It's wild to think. And if I'm rambling, man, it might be the cold medicine. So anyway, long story short, this is a great interview, a fun interview, one that I was very excited to do. I will talk to Fred more in the future because he has, he did make me promise to keep in touch and call him more. He had a couple of projects and things he wanted to do. He had wanted me to be involved with. I'm honestly hoping that he is serious about these things. It'll be fun. But I will be talking to Fred more in the future. But I was honored to talk to him for this episode. And again, please, I apologize and please overlook the audio issues and just ride it through. Try to get past that to enjoy. Just soak in the moment of what you're doing and that you're listening to Flying Fred Curry. I just can't. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we will indeed have my guest, the legendary Flying Fred Curry.
Hey, you bums, we have to take a quick break.
Filsinger Games is a tabletop cards and dice game company that has enjoyed success for over 3 decades. Their first game was Champions of the Galaxy and was released in 1986. Champions of the Galaxy is a tabletop game that features professional wrestling over 100 years in the future. Humans, aliens, and monsters battle in the Galactic Wrestling Federation for belts. Legends of Wrestling features officially licensed wrestling cards featuring stars like Ted DiBiase, Jimmy Snuka, Harley Race, and many, many more, including game sets for independent promotions. Each match takes place in real time. The action is fast and furious, and all the things that happen in pro wrestling, like cage matches, outside interference, 3-man tag matches, they also happen in the games. You have the opportunity to run your own wrestling promotion involving either real life stars or fictional characters of the future, or you can mix and match both. Visit filsingergames.com for more information and to order the games today. That is Filsinger Games, FILSINGERGAMES.com to order now. If you like horror movies, be sure to check out Dave Dynasty and Ike Isaacs on the Listen to Their Screams Horror Podcast. It is available on all podcast platforms and on social media at Listen to Screams. That is Listen, the number 2 in Screams. Hey ho, everybody. Subscribe to the Pinhead Pod, the Ramones fan podcast bringing you interviews, news, deep dives, and much more. Look it up on your favorite podcast platform. That is Pinhead Pod.
We're back on Wrestling Nostalgia.
And we're here on Wrestling Nostalgia. This time I'm being joined by an absolute legend, Flying Fred Curry. Fred, how are you doing?
Fred, how you doing?
I'm good.
How you doing?
It's an honor to talk to you. I grew up watching you. Like I said, met you a few times, talked to you a few times, but it's good to be actually doing an interview with you. And let's talk. I was talking about your childhood, Fred, because you were a standout athlete, right? You wrestled, you ran track, you played football.
Yeah, down at UConn.
Yeah, went to UConn on a football scholarship, right?
Yeah, all the way.
Oh, that's right. Did you ever?
They jumped on.
Go ahead.
Because I had a big high school career in football. I was all-state All-American.
Yeah. Did you ever have hopes of going to the NFL?
Did I ever have what?
Did you ever have hopes about going to the NFL, playing pro football?
I did. I didn't have the actual big size because I was a lineman.
Oh, gotcha.
And, when you're in pro football, when you're in college playing for that level, you got to be quite large.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if people know or not, but we're going to tell them your father was the famous Wild Bull Curry, one of the wildest, most distinctive wrestlers of all time. But I have to. What was?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
You know, I could spend all week looking at his newspaper clippings.
Oh, I could spend all week talking to you about him.
He was way up.
Yeah, he was. But what was he like? What was he like just as a father, as a dad?
He was great. You know, he was, I had to outperform myself or be very critical.
Mm-hmm.
He was, never pulled any punches in the ring and outside of it. What the hell are you doing there? What are you talking about? No explanation.
Yeah. Well, so did he train you?
No,
No.
he didn't train me.
No. So who trained you for your career?
Well, I tell you, when I went up in the ring, I went up to the north around Lake Erie and all that. And I just, whatever the group's there, I trained myself. But he gave me a lot of this information.
Yeah.
What clicks and what doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you first started, you teamed with him quite a bit. And you guys held some tag title stuff. Did you like teaming with him when you starting your career?
Well, could you repeat that?
I said when you started out, you and him teamed quite a bit. And you guys held some tag titles. Did you like teaming with your dad?
I'll tell you, I couldn't. It was tough with my dad because they tagged me in there. He said, okay, 20 minutes of flying. I said, what? You know, I'm thinking about timing. He's thinking about, I want you up in the air all the time. Don't give me any crap. Up in the air. That was my dad.
He was no nonsense, wasn't he?
You're not kidding.
Well, at that time, you worked in Texas a lot for Fritz von Erich, right?
Right, I was on his curriculum quite a bit. He liked me a lot, liked my style, and I tag team partners with him. I was partners with Bubba Brazil. I can go down the line, all the top guys. But Fritz was a hell of a good guy for me.
Yeah, and obviously his family, you know, it's very, very famous. Did you meet any of his kids when they were young? Were they around, running around while you were there?
Yeah, but I really hooked on with Fritz. I never messed with his kids.
Yeah,
they were very young.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you finally kind of went off and did your own thing, away from your father, right? You were always kind of the opposite of your dad, right? Your dad was this wild, the eyebrows and everything else, but you were always very clean cut, very scientific. Did you do that on purpose to try to be different?
Well, that's where I felt the best.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do his part in the ring.
Yeah.
Because I was watching one of his old tapes that one of my sons had.
Yeah.
Yeah. 90% of them, he's winging out punches.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was in my style.
Yeah.
I did a lot for timing, going in the right spots, and doing my high spots. I like to be up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. Did anybody ever try to pressure you into doing like a Bull Curry Jr. thing and being like your dad? Did you ever get any push on that?
No.
No.
They respected my style, and they didn't want me to be like my dad.
Yeah. Right.
You got to be out there punching 24/7.
Yeah. Well, and when you started on your own, you moved to Columbus, Ohio, and worked for Al Haft, right?
Well, when I started on my own, I went up to north Lake area, Toronto.
Yeah.
And then I went down to Columbus and down south.
Yeah. Well,
And,
Yeah, Al Haft is
working for the Chief.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Al Haft is a guy that a lot of people may not be real familiar with. What was Al Haft like?
What was what?
What was Al Haft like to work for?
I tell you what, I never really worked for the guy.
Oh yeah.
He came to the show that the Sheik had. He says, I wanted him.
Yeah.
He looked at me, and she says, nah, he's tied up. But Al Haft was a little bit before my time.
Yeah.
But he was a great promoter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, you were known as Flying Fred, and you were known for your drop kicks and the number that you could throw.
That's correct.
I mean, you threw. I mean, how did that become your thing?
I'll tell you what I
drop
would
kick?
do. The more I did, the people started counting.
That's right.
Out there. It was perfect for television. I'd get up to like 3 guys in the ring. I'd get up to 14 or 15 drop kicks. Never got tired.
Do you remember what the most you threw in a row is?
Pardon me?
Do you remember what the most you ever threw in a row is? How high did it ever get?
I think I did one time 20.
Wow.
But I mean, the guy was hitting the wall with. He'd just lay on the mat and stick his shoulder up. I said, man, get up. I can't move. I can't move. It was tough. You know, it's easy. It's not easy to throw. It's hard. If you know what you're doing, it's easy. And I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, that's a lot of up and down.
A lot up and down. And, you know, you got to twist in the air and hit the ground, hands and legs.
Yeah.
So you get up right away.
Yeah.
That's the whole key. Action. Action. You can't be complacent. If you're a drop kick guy, or it's action. I loved it.
Yeah. And in that time, though, I mean, there's not a lot of guys doing that kind of stuff, right? There weren't a lot of guys throwing good drop kicks and everything. So that was kind of your thing.
They couldn't keep up. I was young. I was out of Yukon. I was playing a lot of sports. I was football, wrestling, and I was in really shape. So I could throw them forever.
Yeah, was it?
And plus, the more I threw out there, the people started counting. And that got me revved up.
Yeah. Was that your point of pride? If anybody else threw a drop kick, were you like, oh, I can throw it better than that?
Nah. I don't worry about those guys.
Yeah.
They couldn't do what I could do.
They were trying to be
I
you.
used the ropes. What?
Well, hey, in
I'd be out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good.
No, I was just gonna say, in 1972, you were voted the most popular wrestler in Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. And
that's correct.
Yeah. So what was that like? Because you know, what were those awards and exposure like? I mean, back then that was it. That was your main form of exposure, was TV and magazines.
Yeah, but that revved me up.
Yeah, I mean that
got me more excited. In fact, you're giving me goosebumps.
Oh. I
love it.
That's pretty exciting.
I was popular.
Yeah. What did you get? Did you get a plaque, a trophy? Did you get anything?
Repeat that.
When you won that award, what did they give you? Did they give you a plaque or a trophy, or did you get anything for it?
Yeah, they gave me a lot of money at that time, and I get a lot of that other didn't bother me. I like the cash. I like to spend it, and I like to go out there and do my thing in the ring. The more I did, the more excited I got. Yeah, that was my gig.
That's right.
Give me the ring.
Well, and like you said, you wound up in Detroit, and that's where most people know you from, right? You worked for the Sheik, and
Cobo
Hall. They're in Detroit, and that was what a feud. You and the Sheik. That was like the top baby face against the top heel, right there. And what was it like?
The Sheik
working with the Sheik in Cobo Hall in Detroit.
I'll tell you what, the fans were so behind me. It just got me all excited and revving me up. It got me to do more. If I throw 10, I want to throw 15 because I liked the way the fans took it. I worked for not only myself, I worked out there hard for my fans.
Yeah.
And it gave me a way to move to the top of that. Flying Fred.
That's right. When you worked with the Sheik and you were throwing all those drop kicks, did he ever tell you to slow down?
Oh, I give him a chance. How he did. I started throwing those drop kicks. He says, "The hell with this." He fell out of the ring. They'd be in his chairs. I couldn't find him. The hell with you, this guy. I tell you, I used to throw so many drop kicks, such an attack match. We have the Statue of Liberty. I jump on 5 or 6 guys and put my hand up in the air. In so many ways, I get the fans excited. That Statue of Liberty is a big thing for me.
Yeah. And everybody talks. You hear so many stories about the Sheik, right? And keeping up his image. What was he like away from the ring to talk to in the back? Did he get? I mean, did you and him become close? Did he let you in?
Yeah. When he was making money, he was great. That was all those days from 1970 to 80 when the TV was hot.
Yeah.
When he was on television, he was, it just gave me smiles. The more I did, the more I get, the more smiles I get. I had a lot of hell of a match to see.
Yeah.
And with Von Erich.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Yeah, and in 1979, you went to New York and worked for the WWF. How did you end up getting booked in New York?
Tell you what, Vince McMahon came down to Detroit to watch me work. He says, "I want Flying Fred." So I got to go to New York. Vince McMahon became a fan of mine. And the more I was in the ear, the more I liked it. He was used to making a lot of money and drawing a lot of money at the Madison the Garden. So he needed action guys. And he wanted me. But I used to drive with him all the time. He'd take me to shows. Him and his son. I tell you, it was a pleasure being with those guys.
Yeah.
At Cobo Hall, they sold out all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it like? What was it like working with Dick the Bruiser?
I'll tell you what. Dick the Bruiser, Crusher Lazowski, that type of stuff. You got to be on top of your game.
Yeah.
He's on top of you all the time.
Yeah.
You feel like throwing punches all the time at these. That was his style. You weren't going to Dick the Bruiser. You got to go out there and throw leather. You work with my dad the same way.
Yeah, those
are top guys, and you had to go to their style.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, a similar thing. I mean, both those guys, right? They like to brawl.
Yeah. Yeah. All of you. I tell you, I liked with them because the houses were big. The houses were big, and the action was fast. My type of match.
Yeah, I bet Bruiser, he
got me over.
Yeah, he wasn't going to bump for those drop kicks too much, was he?
They got me over.
That's right. And talk to me towards the end of your career. you worked for Jerry Graham Jr., Jerry Jaffe, over in Ohio. They had a good little run, a good TV show. Did you like working there at that time?
Yeah, I like Ohio because we're on television in Toledo. We're close to Detroit.
Yeah.
On television all the time in Detroit. We had so much television exposure. And I'm surprised you mentioned Jerry Jeff. That's a name from the past. Jerry Graham Jr.
That's right. Jerry's a friend of mine. I talked to him a lot, and I'm a big fan of his. And what a man! You would talk about a good talker. Jerry Jaffe could talk.
Yeah, he was not only wrestling, he was a promoter.
Yeah.
And he was he was living in Toledo.
Yeah, smart guy.
And he was good for me. The Sheik was good. They were all great for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were on top. And when I worked with them, I was on top.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of exposure. I'd be with them all the time.
Yeah.
Give me him.
Yeah. And Jerry had a good tag team.
What is Jeff?
Jerry had a good tag team with Don Kent.
Jeff could take. What?
I said Jerry had a good tag team with Don Kent too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Not kidding.
Yeah, Bulldog Don Kent. Man, he was. What are your memories of Don Kent?
Don Kent was my type of guy. He was a funny type. I loved working with Don Kent. We worked tag matches. Don Kent would be partners with Al Costello.
Yeah.
He would be working against me and my dad.
Yeah.
And he'd be with my dad out there. And his start moving. I was thinking about my dad's hair apart. So that's like a boss fight. My dad be pushing it back. And he'd turn up and look at Don Kent. You got to be at the dumbest time. I had a lot of fun with those guys. Don Kent and Al Costello.
Yeah.
The Kangaroos.
Kangaroos, yeah. Yeah, I always loved Don Kent. He was just so good at everything he did. And
he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you meet him?
No, I don't know, way back in the show. I don't even remember. It was a long time.
Toledo?
Yeah, well, no, maybe. Somewhere in Ohio, Indiana. I don't remember where. Back when, I don't remember. It was just right there at the end of his life and stuff. So, yeah, I always loved his work. And also though, I mean, not only did you wrestle, your dad wrestled, but you got sons that wrestled. Fred Jr. wrestled.
Who?
Your sons, Fred Jr. and Nick. They follow in your footsteps.
He called me today. He said, "Hey, it's your time with you. Make sure you actually." Yeah, I'll be here waiting.
Yeah, Fred called you and reminded you.
I'll tell you, my son, he was a hell of an ass.
He was, yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah. And so what?
How'd you know him?
Just online, just on like Facebook and stuff. Just met him on there, knowing he was your son. And I interviewed him a long time,
Yeah.
A couple years ago. But and then
he called me an hour before I started talking to you. He says he's going to call you at this time. Make sure it's okay. Okay, I'll make sure.
Yeah. And what about Nick?
What you said?
I said, what about Nick?
What about him?
Yeah, what about Nick Perry?
Good.
Because I remember.
Couldn't beat it.
I remember meeting you in Ohio one time, and Nick was with you there.
Did you ever want to wrestle, or did you just in matches?
No. Yeah, I wrestled for a little bit. Yeah, I wrestled for a little bit, but it was in the,
Where
in,
at?
in,
Toledo?
no, in Indiana. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was originally from Indiana.
You sound like a Dick the Bruiser guy.
I am. I'm a Dick the Bruiser guy. Yeah, I wrestled a lot with with Bobo Brazil Jr. Calypso Jim, around Indiana.
Crusher Lazowski.
No. It was well past his time. I'm much younger than that. It was well past that.
You better be.
I'm younger than that. So.
You're a young guy.
Well, I'm almost 50. I'm not that young, but.
Yeah. So you can go in the ring now.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Those days are behind me.
Now you're a lover boy.
Well, my wife hopes so. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Make sure she's not listening.
Oh, she always listens, Fred. That's okay. She
Where
knows
you
how
living at?
Right now I live in North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Moved out here, but yeah.
I heard that Louis Gillette passed away down there.
Yep.
Then a bunch of other guys that I work with are gone. Heck,
Yeah.
where'd they all go?
I don't know.
My wall is filled with them.
I don't know. We're losing them all, Fred. But
I probably got over 1,000 clippings. Not clippings, but like magazines
yeah.
that I was in at Coba Hall.
Yeah.
Big time wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I remember when that one time in Ohio at that one show that last time just here a few years ago. You had all kinds of stuff: clippings, magazines. You had trophies. You had all kinds of stuff there. You were showing off.
Yeah, I did.
Stuff that was yours and stuff was your dad's both.
You were at that match? You went to those matches?
Yeah, the Bobby Fulton, that one of those Bobby Fulton shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like working with him.
Yeah. I got a picture. I got a picture, sir, Fred, of you and me and my son at that night when we met.
I worked with Bobby.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, Bobby's a good guy.
Yeah. Your type of guy.
He's my type of guy, yeah. Always remembered him as in the Fantastics and stuff, but he, when he teamed up with them, but he goes way back into Ohio and everything else. Bobby's a great guy, great worker.
Sure the hell was. Yeah, but tell you what, at that time you couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
He was one of the best workers around.
Yeah.
Did you ever work with him?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I don't think I ever got to work with him. But no, he didn't. He was still on TV, big time when I was wrestling, trying to make my way. He wasn't on my level. He was well above my level. So.
He had no time for you.
Yeah, he didn't. No, he wouldn't give me the time of the day.
No.
You remember?
I'm sure he would.
No, yeah, he would have. I'm just joking. Yeah. You remember Calypso Jim, though, right?
Who?
Calypso Jim.
What's he said?
Calypso Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked a lot with him.
Oh.
Yep.
He's kind of better looking than you, right?
Yeah, always, yeah. He still wrestles, Fred.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Calypso still wrestles.
Yeah?
Yeah, he still wrestles. In Indiana. He lives in Indiana.
Are they drawing anything in Indiana? Dick the Bruiser don't work there.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah, Calypso's still working.
Who's running Indiana?
Just lots of little guys. Well, I mean, Calypso runs his own shows now. So there's just all kinds of people running little shows all over the place. Nobody.
Do you go to matches much?
I did when I was in Indiana. I don't go to a lot around here. There's not. I haven't been able to go to a lot here in North Carolina, but in Indiana I did. I went to anything I could get to and everything. So
Yeah, you're a television celebrity now.
I don't know about that. I've never been on TV, Fred. You're a television celebrity, not me.
Oh well, you gotta put the wrestling tights on and jump in the ring.
Nope.
When you get
No
over.
more for me, Fred. I'm done.
Throw 10 drop kicks. You'll be okay.
I couldn't. I barely get off the ground, Fred. My drop kicking days are done.
You hit him in the knees.
I don't even know if I can get that high now.
I'll tell you what, and that is all acceleration timing.
Yeah.
Being in the right spot at the right time and doing it at the right time. I used to love it. Doing drop kicks that throw me in turnbuckle. And I flip out to the outside. And I come over the top rope with a drop kick. And I hit him with 10 more. I got me over.
When it all works and everything's working, it's magic, isn't it, Fred?
Yeah. Not really.
Just you can't beat it.
Hey, I feel good being up in the air.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we have I want to ask you. We've got a book about your dad, Wild Bull. Are we ever going to get a book about Flying Fred Curry?
To write a book?
Yeah, we need a Fred Curry biography. We need to know all about you and your career and your life and everything. Could we ever get that?
Well, I tell you what, I got a couple that are not on that level, but I never published them. Yeah, I think I do. I'll contact you and give you one.
You
can help me out.
Yeah, you got a book about yourself?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I got to. How about you? So you've got printed up copies of yourself and everything?
I'm looking at it right now.
Fred, I gotta have one of those. I'm gonna get hold of Fred Jr. and we'll talk about that. I've got your dad's book, your book you put out about your dad, the Wild Bull book. I've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that one.
We'll put that together.
Wow.
The cover and everything.
I'm good.
You know, in fact.
I'll do it.
I wrote that book.
Did you? Oh, the Wild Bull book.
My dad.
Yeah. I love it. I got it right over there in my bookshelf. I can see it right here, from where I'm sitting. I can see it. Yeah, I've read that.
Did you ever work with him?
Oh, Wild Bull? No.
Yeah.
No. He passed away long before I was working. Oh.
Huh. Yeah, he passed away 1970. How did you get into television commentating?
What you mean doing these things that I'm doing, these interviews and stuff and talking like this?
Did you work for Victor Bruiser?
Nope. Never worked for Bruiser. No. When I started, it was after Bruiser. When I started, it was after Bruiser and everything. That was later than that.
Oh yeah, they were all good.
Nope.
Christian Wielalski.
Nope. That was after all that. Nope. But I grew up watching all those guys. I grew up watching you, Fred.
Hey, you bums. We have to take a quick break.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here, curator of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, inviting you guys to listen to many of the programs here as part of the WrestleCopia brand, including, but not limited to, the Wrestling Memory Grenade, currently covering the 1988 and the WWF project. You can also listen to the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories, whether it's Jamie Ward with Georgia 81, Roman Gomez with the UWF in 1986, or Gene Jackson covering Memphis in 85. 3 projects going on right now over there at Regional Wrestling. You can also listen to the Wrestling Stoop with the legend himself, Bob Roop. Bob goes back in time each and every week, covering not just his career, but countless stories and interactions with hundreds of wrestling names spanning his 2 decades in the business. But that's not all. You can also check out the Puro Wrestling Academy with the professor of Puro Resu, Mr. Dan Ginnity. Dan and I go back in time and cover the history of Japanese professional wrestling in the English language. And you can listen to all of those shows and more, all part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, located over at WrestleCopia.com. That's WrestleCopia.com, and anywhere your podcast streaming needs are met, from Apple to Spotify, Pocket Cast, and beyond. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our social media guides for all the latest goings on here at the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Plus, I'm constantly adding old school video clips and pictures from throughout wrestling history. You can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter, at Wrestling Grenade. That's at RASSLIN Grenade. Also, follow and like me, Facebook.com/Wrestling Grenade. And why not subscribe to YouTube.com/Wrestling Grenade. So if you're looking to support that next up-and-coming podcast brand, please consider making it WrestleCopia.
Hey, it's Bob Smith, and guess what? The Outdated Wrestling Hour is now part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. But hey, no fear, you're still going to hear the unique guests, comedy, music, authors, journalists, funny people. Who knows who's going to end up on the Outdated Wrestling Hour? Remember, it's all new and all old. So check it out in the WrestleCopia Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcasts. Listen if you know what's good for you.
Hey everybody, Gene Jackson here, inviting you to check out the Retro Wrestling Review, where each week I'm joined by some great co-hosts who help me review classic episodes of USWA Championship Wrestling, and right now we are doing week-by-week reviews of 1993. But we don't just do reviews, sometimes we get a chance to interview some of the people who were there and lived it, plus do watch-alongs. It's a lot of fun, so check out new episodes that drop every Wednesday at WrestleCopia.com. And to find links to everything associated to the podcast, you can go to uswapodcast.com.
We're back on Wrestling Nostalgia.
All right, and thank you. Thank you for sticking with it. Like I told you, I don't think it disappointed. I hope it didn't disappoint. It's talking to Fred, 81 years old, some technological I don't want to say limitations because it's not a limitation thing, but it's not, what I'm used to doing, where it's really, click and go easy to get a really high quality interview. It's different working with, Fred on this one. But I hope it was worth the content. I think it was, and I appreciate you listening through it. Guys, please go follow me on social media. I'm on all the platforms. Just look up The Dave Dynasty, and you'll find me there. Also, go check out all the WrestleCopia network of podcasts. There's some great shows there with all the guys. I'm proud to be a part of that. I'm proud to work with these guys. We converse on our own a lot. It's just fun to interact with these guys, and it's an honor to be a part. And I'm not only part of it, but I genuinely enjoy their shows, and I listen to the shows. They're great. It's all great work. I wouldn't be a part of it. I wouldn't be associated with them. And I wouldn't be part of Ray's network if I didn't think so, right? And it's great. So go check them out. You can find them on any podcast platform. Just look up the show you want, or you can go to WrestleCopia.com and it'll get you where you want to go. Do keep in mind there will be future installments of Ray Russell's regional wrestling show that will be he and I diving into WWA. Ray's being very patient with me as I am trying to narrow down where we're going to begin with this and what we're going to do, because the WWA is hard, right? You can't just do a straight watch along because there's not a complete video library out and available where we can watch even a year's worth, right? It's straight through TV. So we got to be unique about this and got to be creative. And Ray has given me the reins to throw out some ideas and see what we can do and see what he thinks. And he's being patient as I work through that. So it's coming, guys. It's coming. For you, those of you who are like me, love Midwest wrestling, love the WWA, want to hear some stories, good, bad, ugly, Hey, look, I know a lot of times when I'm out there posting and talking, I try to put on the rose-colored glasses because I'm trying to be the salesman to get people to bite and to come into this world and check out the WWA. But man, when we get into this on regional wrestling, I'm not going to be a fool, right? I'm going to call the bad, and there was some bad in the WWA, but there was also a lot of good, and that's what I want, make sure people forget, people don't notice, people oftentimes overlook or aren't aware of the really, really good stuff that was in the WWA. Anyway, so that's coming. Also, be sure to check out my friends at the Ultimate Classic Wrestling Library. Go to classicwrestling.net, or you can download their app on all of your devices. They have lots of great stuff on there, lots of great Midwest stuff on there, from the WWA, Chic in Michigan stuff on there, all kinds of good stuff. So go check them out, Ultimate Classic Wrestling Library at classicwrestling.net. Next episode, man, this is going to be a fun one. This is going to be, this is one that I'm really super psyched about. Don't get me wrong, I get excited about all of them, right? Because all these guys have great stories and great careers, and they're just great conversations. And I just so much enjoy talking to them and conversing with them and laughing with them. And it's all just, man, it's all an honor and it's all fun. But this next one, I'm looking forward to it, man, because it is the one and the only Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker. We're going to talk about the State Patrol, the power plant, and much more. I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be fun when we have the Sarge on. Not that Sarge, but Sergeant Buddy Lee. So check that out next episode. Guys, thank you for all your listens, your supports, your follows, and your interactions. It means the world to me, and please keep it up. Guys, thank you for your patience this week. As again, I know my voice sounds weird. I'm a little stuffy, getting over the sickness. I know there were some audio issues with the Fred Curry interview. So I know, hey, quality-wise, maybe I'm not the top guy quality-wise anyway, but I know this week maybe there were some struggles between the sickness and the connection issues with the interview. Thank you for sticking with it and listening and supporting anyway. I hope you got some good listen time out of it and enjoyed yourself. So until next episode, wherever you go and whatever you do, be good, be safe, and always keep on growing.
Fans, we brought you All-Star Championship Wrestling. This is Sam Maneker thanking you for being with us and saying until next time, so long everyone.
Wrestling Nostalgia, copyright Dave Dynasty, Bruiser voice done by John Lawson.